is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the info war.
With your body. So this is a new DARPA project, new Defense Department project. Actually, I think this one is coming from the Air Force. They want to have a spy program that's going to use physiological signatures to identify, locate, and track specific individuals or groups of people.
Yeah, that's biometrics.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember like 15 years ago, the Pentagon said, we'll use biometrics of the heat res of your head and the top of your shoulders to track you. People said, oh, that's a lie.
Right.
Now that's in movies like Elysium. No, that's already going on.
Well, they're moving on
to
biometrics.
DNA.
Yeah, they're moving on biometrics on everything. It's like you see the fingerprint, on the iPhone. You've got some apps that have come out that'll identify you by your ear print on your phone. So they're working everything to identify you and to make it an ID so you can't get onto the internet without them knowing exactly who you are and where you are.
Then if you're not a good little globalist, they turn you off.
Exactly.
They've said 3 strikes, no judge, no jury. That's SOPA, that's CISPA, you're off. This is not our opinion. This is their goal. This is their plan. And they're just doing it. They're just moving forward with it.
And this company, Slick Login, that Google just bought, their way to get onto the internet is not with biometrics, but with your iPhone, which is going to be your 1984 device. And I think it's kind of interesting when they had the question and answer session with the people there at the technology conference, nobody really asked them about their access to your phone, just being able to turn your phone on at will. So they basically can turn your phone on whenever they want and send ultrasonic or low-frequency signals back and forth to verify that
Which I told people 3 years ago was in the Associated Press. They were doing federal grants in police departments where the light bulb, special type, communicate with your computer and transfer data between Homeland Security and the police outside the police network. And people always make a joke and go, oh, he says light bulbs are talking to the computer. People are so ignorant, man.
Yes, yes.
I mean, they think the sun is the center of the universe.
And they're going to use this for currency control, as we pointed out. They're going to take a look at where you are contacting the internet when you get onto your bank account, your online banking.
It's a total taxation drain.
Any money around if you're not in the place where they want you to be, or if you're a bad person.
All right, let's go to the phone calls. Again, if you just joined us, up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. We have the big top story. U.S. Army builds fake city in Virginia to practice military occupation and gun confiscation in the United States. Is anybody concerned about how this just keeps expanding and is now out in the open? Gary in New Mexico, your first-time caller. Welcome.
Yes, Alex. I hope you feel better.
Thank you, brother. I'm doing all right. Go ahead.
Well, I was able to visit our FEMA Region 6 Fusion Center in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And a buddy of mine who's one of the DHS goon squads, I was able to show him the actual documentation for Rex 84 and HR 645. And then I even showed him the video you guys had with a banned version with you and Jesse about the FEMA camps. And after they saw all of that, I got escorted out within about 10 minutes and told never come back here.
That's right. You're an evil American saying, hey, these threat fusion centers are international takeover hubs. And the RAND Corporation, by the way, admits that in their National Stabilization Force documents. Thank you so much for the call, sir.
Alex, that was a response of the Ohio National Guard when they were questions about this FOIA request that talked about the scenario where they had gun owners there. The guy said, that's the end of our conversation, just cut him off.
Yeah, you're not going to discuss the enemy.
That's right.
They don't want us to know they're engaged in treason. And they're just going to do it. And that's how you're manly, is that you train to take the guns. And
yeah.
And you have MSNBC announce that, the kids belong to the state. Yeah.
You point it out, you show them the documents, and they say, that's it, we're not going to talk anymore. They don't deny it. They don't try to walk around it even.
Yeah, because they know, because they're following them. They have a public, they're lying to you. Just like, folks, if you're doubting us, when school starts again next year in August, you'll see newscasts everywhere, no matter where you are in the world, saying it's the law to take vaccines. There is no law in the U.S. They lie and say, it's the law, we're going to arrest you, when there is no law. This is an organized crime syndicate. And the average person following the crime syndicate orders isn't even evil. They just follow orders, which is the Nuremberg defense. Let's go to, you talk about that after we come back from break. I want to get your take on that, David. Let's talk to Michael in Texas. You're on the air. Welcome to the first-time caller.
Hey now, Brother Alex and Brother David, good afternoon. I had a report from South Texas about 400 guardsmen conducting a mock drill. My computer just crashed, but they're down there corralling people. I wanted you to understand this rhetoric. I think it'd be important for you guys in your audience to understand that they were quoted as saying that we are pretending it's a UT football game and there's contamination. So then they go to the extent of engaging in mock fighting and tearing clothes. You know.
Yeah, listen. It's civil unrest training. It's happening everywhere. And 3 years ago, there were articles in the San Diego paper where they were training to mow down citizens. So the PSYOP, this is in the news, they said, we'll just call it zombies and claim it's mass zombie killing drills. See, they've dehumanized you now, but we're seen as zombies, and we're called zombies by the NSA.
Well, and you had the shooting targets that went up, remember, of a pregnant woman.
No hesitation.
Yeah, no hesitation, shooting targets, right.
And the average cop or military, they think, well, I'm part of the system, we're good guys. Because they follow that idea. But no, the people on top are pure evil.
Yeah.
Anything else from South Texas, brother?
Well, one or two things. As far as taking back the whole idea that they are the degenerates, I understand. We need to understand that we're not the bad guys. But one more quick thing, as far as the seeds, guys, I got my first order of the survival seeds. They're in the ground. They have germinated. They're doing well. That's one of the few things I'm doing to help defend my family down here. And so I've been fighting the info war for a long time. In order to take action, there's a couple more steps. But beyond that, I'll let you guys go. Have a good week next week, and we'll catch you later.
Thank you so much, brother. Listen, it's a very wealthy planet. And a lot of ideas, a lot of intellectual property, a lot of good things happening, a lot of bad things happening as well. All that evil men and tyrants need to flourish, to quote Thomas Jefferson, is that good people do nothing. And the average person just looks at the world like it's a spectator event. They're not active, they're reactive.
The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding, making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
The brainwashing media machine has been turned up on high, and it's time for humanity to double down on the true people's media and strike back against the tyrants that are destroying our civilization with their lies and fraud. We are the resistance. You are the resistance. You are the info war. It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.
I remember a few weeks ago, the governor of New York, Cuomo, came out and said, quote, if you're, pro-life or into guns, you're not welcome in New York State. That is what you hear in a fascist country. And then Clarence Thomas came out this week and said society is overly sensitive about race. And he said in the 60s when he was going to college in Georgia that he didn't see 1/10 as much race baiting and race obsession that he does now. Well, that's what my dad says.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and went deer hunting, you name it, with good old boys. I never heard anything. Now, since the rise of MSNBC and all the rest of it, every white person is a devil.
One camp versus the other. We've seen this in one occupation after the other. Depends on what the groups are. It could be black versus white. In another area, it could be Russians versus Ukrainians or whatever. But they always try to get different ethnic groups competing and fighting against each other.
Yeah, and start over on that.
It's always
they took my cough button out because it was malfunctioning. And so I have to use the on-air, off-air thing for a cough button. And so I wonder why they were waving their hands every time I kept turning my mic off so I could cough.
Oh.
Start over.
Well, I was just saying, it's amazing how we were going to have the end of racism, and we did elect a black president twice. And yet now we hear that
that only makes it worse.
That his approval ratings are down because we discovered somehow that he's black. That's ridiculous.
Well, he said just a few weeks ago, he said, my approval rating's down because of racism.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the truth is, every day I see these type of articles, and the papers don't even want to say it, but knock that white boy out, arrest made after mob of teens, black teens I should add, attack disabled vet. beat him half to death and robbed him and videotaped it, just like they do in Austin every day. And the media covers it, but will never point out it's racial while they say racial things. Can you imagine if white people went out and found some black people and beat them up?
It's a very effective control technique to put one group against another. And quite frankly, I think that's what they want to do in terms of bringing in blanket numbers of illegal immigrants. They know that they can divide and conquer the population. They can keep them separate, keep them distinct, and pit them against each other. That's what they want to do. Everything that Obama said he was going to do, he's done just the opposite.
Sure, and then that's his job.
Or whether it's healing of the races.
That's why they say the Tea Party's racist, so that nobody who's not white will ever go get into the Bill of Rights and Constitution. It's like, it's racist if you don't want a foreign bank to run the government and take all your money. Oh, we'll take all my money. It's racist if you think it's creepy that MSNBC says that your children belong to the state. I mean, I've seen them say I'm, quote, deeply racist on MSNBC. Mm-hmm. And then they don't show any clip of me saying something deeply racist. These are literal race pimps who know they're race pimps.
And they constantly conflate the American Family Association, the Family Research Council, these mainline evangelical Christian groups. They constantly conflate them with the Ku Klux Klan.
They do that to me.
Racist and hate it.
Even though the Klan and all the white supremacist groups, you go to their website, they hate me more than Netanyahu.
Yeah.
But the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center don't care. They give awards to Soros, a real Nazi collaborator.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's